What up, reader fam? Today I'm going to be doing the In Real Life Fairy Tale Book Tag, and this video is being sponsored by Harlequin Teen, and this book tag is inspired by Something in Between by Melissa de la Cruz. This is a story about a girl by the name of Jasmine, and her family immigrated from the Philippines to the United States. She's in high school, living her life, being a cheerleader, working hard in school, and possibly falling in love. There's a little bit of romance in this story. One day she's presented with a scholarship opportunity, and when she brings it to her family, she discovers a secret that they've been keeping from her. That secret being that they've been living in the country illegally, which means she's unable to get the scholarship that she was just super excited for. So she's kind of just thrown into this whirlwind of confusion as to what her future in academics looks like. It sounds like an incredible yet heartbreaking story, but either way, I'm looking forward to reading this one and to kind of figuring out how this story goes. If it sounds like something that you might enjoy, definitely give it a go. But today's tag is inspired by this story. In this tag, you're teaming up tropes with contemporary stories, so without further ado, let's get started. Let's get to troping it up. Fairy Godmother, a contemporary trope where a fatherly/motherly figure guides a misguided protagonist. For this one, I'm gonna go with the author character from Dying to Know You by Aidan Chambers. We never actually learn the author character's name in this story, which I find really interesting, especially because this book is told in the author's perspective. Anyway, the author in this story ends up being a mentor to this other character by the name of Carl throughout this story. Carl is a character who is struggling in many different aspects of his life, and so he ends up kind of confiding in this author. The two form this unlikely bond, and they both teach each other something new about life. Prince Charming, a contemporary character who takes on a quest for his or her love interest. For this one, I'm gonna go with Eleanor and Park, and I feel like Eleanor and Park could be considered the Prince Charming because they're both kind of working towards this task together. So I feel like together they're on this heroic quest. It's not necessarily one of them doing the work, they're working together to get to this point. They kind of team up together to help Eleanor get out of the situation that she's in. Forbidden Fruit, the contemporary trope of giving in to temptation. For this one, I'm gonna go with Ask Me How I Got Here. This is a book that I unfortunately did not enjoy. In fact, a major reason as to why I didn't like this book is because two characters fall into the temptation of cheating, and that's why this is my answer for this question. And if you couldn't tell by the tone of my voice, I am not a fan of cheaters. Don't be a cheater. Don't cheat on your loved one. Stay true to your lover, please. When the Clock Strikes Midnight, a contemporary trope where the characters must fear an impending moment. For this one, I'm gonna go with The Honest Truth by Dan Gemeinhart. In this story, we follow this character by the name of Mark, who is facing cancer, and he is just so done with going through chemotherapy and going to the hospital, and he's just so tired of being sick. And one day it all just ends up being way too much, and so he decides to run away. And why I chose this book for this question is because you follow Mark on this journey and you just don't know the outcome. You know he has cancer and you're just not sure if he's going to make it by the end of the story. There's kind of this impending fear of the unknown. You just don't know what's gonna happen to Mark, and it just has you on the edge of your seat because you just want to make sure that Mark's gonna be okay. The big bad wolf! An antagonist so powerful that the hero feels helpless against it/him/her. For this one, I'm gonna go with I Was Here by Gail Foreman. This is the story of a girl who is trying to unlock the mystery behind her best friend's suicide. She never saw any signs of her friend being suicidal, and she just wants to figure out what went down. So I feel like the antagonist that our main character is facing throughout this story is the mystery behind her best friend's death, because it just completely consumes her, and it does make her feel helpless throughout this story because this is just a side of her best friend that she didn't know at all, and it's really hard for her to like uncover all these things about her best friend that she didn't even know. The Power Within, a contemporary example of unexpected power from a character who imagines themselves to be ordinary. I'm gonna go with like multiple characters for this one, and that's the family from See You at Harry's by Joe Knowles. The family within this story is faced with a rather unexpected event that just completely changes their lives, and they all have to find it within themselves to get through this event that takes place. Obviously, I have to be very vague here because I don't want to spoil anything, but they find it within themselves to get through this tragic thing that happens. And something that I love about this book is how it teaches the message of the power of family, how families can go through rough times, but if they band together and work together, they can get through those rough times together. The Grand Ball, a contemporary trope wherein a character faces a major moment of fitting in. I'm gonna say Kath from Fangirl because I feel like at the beginning she kind of struggles to find her place in college. Her twin sister just kind of ditches her, and so she must figure out how to kind of like make friends and fit in on her own. And she also doesn't start this book having the best relationship with her roommate, so she just kind of struggles finding her place at the beginning of this book. But throughout the story, she kind of figures things out, makes friends, and all that jazz. as fairest of them all, a contemporary pressure for outer beauty that challenges the importance of inner beauty. For this one, I'm gonna go with Food Girls and Other Things I Can't Have. This story is about a boy who is struggling with body image issues, and he gets into this mindset of having to fit in and having to fit this mold, and he starts to realize that none of that is actually important, and how you start to kind of lose yourself when you reach for things that you're just trying to achieve because of society's standards. The evil stepmother! A contemporary character who invokes anger or resentment for stepping into another's role. For this one, I'm gonna go with the character from Paper Things. This is a story of a girl by the name of Ari and her brother whose parents have passed on, and they promised their mother that no matter what, they would stay together. But they end up despising and having lots of issues with the guardian they're left with, which really the guardian is great, they're just so blinded by it because they miss their parents. So they just have a hard time adjusting to this guardian, and it causes a lot of conflicts along the way. Happily Ever After. The contemporary belief in finding happiness in the end, even when the road to get there had its struggles. For this one, I'm gonna have to go with Zach and Mia, even though I didn't love this book. I feel like it fits this question well, because these characters go through quite the journey throughout this book. And even though they don't necessarily get their happily ever after moment, they end up in a better situation than they were in at the beginning. So that was the in real life fairy tale book tag. I'm not gonna lie, some of those questions were really hard to answer. Now I'm gonna ask you guys a question to answer down below. I want to know what your favorite trope in a book is. Even if it's a trope that's overused, I wanna know what it is down below. Also guys, don't forget, if something in between sounded interesting to you, to go and check it out. It's in stores now. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so click subscribe if you want to be notified for when I post new videos. Thanks for watching guys, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye, chew. What up, reader fam? Today I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 favorite book covers of 2016.